What if the next billion-dollar brokerage wasn't something that's like coming down the road like 5 years from now, but something that's actually already here, growing right underneath your nose while most of the industry is still trying to figure out what just happened? Because right now, LPT is outpacing the biggest names in all of real estate: Compass, EXP, and Real, and doing it in record time. And here's what I think is wild. LPT isn't growing recklessly. It's growing profitably. That word alone should make every agent and every team leader stop and pay attention. In this video, I'm going to walk you through what's happening inside this record-setting company, why agents are loving LPT, why teams are scaling faster here than anywhere else, why independent brokerages are quietly folding into the model, and why it's still early enough that you can plant your flag here before the rest of the world realizes what's even happening. Now, before we jump into that, I'm Isaac Guzman with Real Estate CEOs, powered by LPT Realty. And make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like, comment, and share, because I want to know your thoughts on what's happening here at LPT. It's absolutely going gangbusters. All right, so let's jump into some of the numbers showing you exactly what's going on. Now, if you've been watching from the sidelines thinking, I'll see how this plays out, this is your nudge. Because, okay, the window is still open, but it won't be forever. All right, now look at the trajectory. On this slide right here in the black, that's Compass, okay? The darker blue, like the real blue, that's EXP. The gray line is Real Brokerage. And that light blue line, that's climbing faster than all of them. Yeah, that's LPT Realty. When Compass, EXP, and Real each hit their first like billion-dollar valuations, they were smaller than LPT is right now, okay? Smaller agent count, smaller transaction volume, smaller impact, right? We're already beyond where they were at the same stage. All right, now here's the catch. Every single one of those companies lost millions, in some cases even hundreds of millions, to buy growth. They burned through investor money initially, right? Trying to grab market share. LPT flipped that script. We're not buying growth. We're building it. We're profitable, okay? That's like watching a rocket launch that isn't leaking any fuel, right? The thrust is pure momentum. In just 1 year, according to Real Trends verified data, LPT went from 36 teams to 110. Transaction sides tripled from just under 8,000 to over 23,000. Volume jumped from 2.8 billion to over 10 billion. Those aren't vanity numbers, by the way. Those are indicators of a company that's not just scaling, it's compounding. All right. Even individual agents doubled their volume because at LPT, the structure actually gives them something most brokerages never have: leverage, choice. All right. The technology, the marketing, all those systems, the support, it's all designed to make an agent feel like they're actually part of a machine that works for them, not the other way around. All right. We all know that real estate can feel like a hamster wheel. Okay. You sell, you close, you start over. Okay. LPT is building something that turns that hamster wheel into a flywheel. All right. Every turn it takes, it's easier and easier, not harder, to keep that momentum going and growing. All right. And that's why solo agent era isn't dead. Okay. Now, a lot of people think it's fading fast. The truth is, solo agent and LPT are very empowered to go out and compete with some of the very biggest top producers. Now, let's be real. Some of us would also argue that, hey, the future belongs to teams. Well, if you believe that, the people who understand collaboration, leadership, systems, and scale in those teams, they're forming and growing fastest right here at LPT. Now let's talk about profitability for a second, because this part matters more than what most people actually realize, okay? When you look at the industry's big names, every one of them spent their early years in the red. EXP, years of losses before turning their first profit. Compass, same story, but probably worse. Even Real burned through investor money chasing momentum. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. That's super common. It's not like they did a bad thing or something even out of the normal. LPT profitable in the first year, year two, and projected to stay that way as we continue to move forward. All right. That's like building a skyscraper and laying the foundation out of concrete instead of cardboard. That's what you do. You can stack floors higher and faster with confidence that it won't collapse. All right. Profitability doesn't just mean money, it means stability. It means that the people at the top aren't making short-term decisions to survive, just like one more quarter. It means agents can build their business here knowing that the platform underneath them is built to last. Now think about this for 1 second, okay? LPT stayed profitable during the toughest housing market in 30 years. Let that sink in for a second. While the rest of the industry was tightening their belts, myself included by the way, cutting staff and trying to stay alive, LPT has been expanding. We had a $700 million in revenue run rate right now. 180% year over year revenue growth. And every bit of it was organic. No acquisitions, no mergers, no borrowed credibility, all right? Just pure growth. It's like watching a tree grow in the middle of winter. When everyone else is hibernating, this thing's still sprouting new branches, all right? So why are agents joining in droves? Well, because the first brokerage model that actually makes sense for the modern agent, in my opinion. All right, no monthly fees draining your account. Super simple. No sign-up fee because they want to see you win, not charge you a bunch of fees. Okay. How about stock ownership opportunities so you can share in an upside? A dual compensation structure where you choose the compensation that fits. All right, keep 100% commission or plug into revenue share and grow your wealth that way and double the stock. Okay, elite marketing tools that aren't sold as like add-ons. They're built in and built by the company. And what that means is that it's a all-in-one platform, so you don't have to go get a little bit here, get a little bit there. There's nothing wrong with hiring outside agencies for marketing assistance, right? But the thing is, when it's all done at the same company with the same purpose, with the same idea and the same concept behind it, well, it makes it that much easier. It's continuity of messaging, right? When you can just go to one place to be able to do that. And it's not a place that's okay at marketing. They're the best. What about leadership that reinvests profits into people, not just corporate bonuses? All right. Agents feel it immediately. You can walk into any LPT event, okay, and see it in the energy. It doesn't feel like a company. It feels like a movement. And I'm not just saying that. That sounds super corny. I get it. All right. But I was at FallCon this last week, and that's actually why my voice is so shot. All right. But it feels like a movement. When we walk in, it's a place where agents don't have to apologize for wanting to grow big, where collaboration isn't just like a buzzword that's written on the wall somewhere. It's actually the way the machine runs. And that same culture is exactly why teams are exploding here. At most brokerages, teams hit a ceiling. The systems break, the splits stop making sense, the back-end support can't keep up. At LPT, that ceiling doesn't exist, or at least every time we've seemed to bump up against it, we're a pretty big team, they find a way to stay ahead of us, a way to break through with us. Teams are 10 times more likely to grow into mega teams here than anywhere else. Look at the data. All right, 10 times. In Florida alone, our first state, by the way, 22 of the 75 mega teams belong to LPT. Okay, that's more than KW, Compass, or EXP. That's not an accident, guys. These aren't run by a bunch of dummies, okay, that fall for gimmicks, right? I hear this all the time. Oh, it's just a gimmick. It's all hype. That many people selling that much real estate, at a certain point, it kind of sounds silly. Now, that's design. Everything here, from the way that marketing works to like the way the commissions are structured, all right, is built for team scalability and for individual agents to succeed at that level too. Right? They call it your individual definition of success. That's what we're all chasing. And they're not here to just give you a one-size-fits-all approach. And for teams, let's be real, okay? It's not just about adding agents for bragging rights, okay? It's about creating an environment where leaders can actually lead. All right, some of the best leaders I know made the move over to LPT from other brokerages because they go, I feel like the person that is leading here, Robert Palmer, is so ahead of every other leader out in the marketplace that it's not even fair. We feel like he might be an unfair advantage, but then the collaboration that we get gets us even further ahead. You know, the other thing is like agents can actually grow. Both sides win together, team leaders and the agents. Now, if you've ever run a team, you know the pain. Payroll, lead cost, training, turnover. You spend half your time building and half your time babysitting. All right. And I don't mean the agents are babies. What I'm saying is babysitting the thing that you built, right? You built this thing and now you have to watch it. Oh, did you get a boo-boo? Did you? Right. And that's the thing. Our businesses matter. Here's the thing. LPT takes a lot of the heavy lifting off the plate so that we can get back to doing what we actually love, which is selling, mentoring, leading. And it's not just agents and teams making the switch, right? Independent brokerages are joining. And they're making a loud noise about it, okay? Because these are people who already built great local brands, who really care about their people and their agents and their culture, but they're tired. They're tired of compliance issues. They're tired of tech that doesn't integrate well. They're tired of trying to keep up with like marketing and recruiting and retention all on their own and having a smaller runway than LPT provides the average agent. Right? Plugging into LPT gives them the best of both worlds. They keep their identity, they keep their culture, they keep their leadership voice, but now they have that national support behind them, right? It's like, I don't know, taking like a small boat that's been battling the ocean alone and like docking it to like this massive ship that's already charted the course. Right? You still get to steer, but you don't have to fight through the storm all by yourself anymore. And that's why independent firms are really joining. All right. They see the storm clouds forming in the industry and they're choosing shelter with a company that's built to last. And that's where most people don't realize. Even with all this growth, it's still pretty early at LPT. It's only a few years old. The tech stack keeps getting sharper and sharper. The marketing engines keep getting bigger and bigger. All right. And the leadership team is still personally involved, which means you still have direct access to the people shaping the future of the industry and this brand. All right. This is the part of the movie where the rocket engines are firing, but it hasn't cleared the atmosphere yet. Now you can see the thrust and you can feel like the vibration is shaking and you know what's about to happen. Okay. And you have a chance to climb aboard before it's totally out of reach. Now, if you've ever looked back at another company's success and said, dude, I wish I had gotten in early. This is that moment. Okay. This is that second chance you got. Except this time, it's not just another growth story built on hype. It's built on real numbers that makes sense and leadership that's providing them in real time. Okay. LPT is building what every agent has been waiting for, in my opinion. It's a brokerage that actually serves the agents. Right? And it's not that the other ones are bad or evil or anything. They just got in their own way with the way that they built out the systems, the way they built out the comp plan, the way that they emphasize certain key components instead of tangible tools that actually help agents sell more real estate. Okay, make it more about revenue share or more about their technology stack as opposed to giving agents what they actually need to succeed in today's market. Here's the thing. If you're an agent who's tired of feeling like a number, a team leader who wants to scale without losing your sanity, or a brokerage owner who says, you know what, I'm ready to align with the model that's built for the next decade instead of the last one, it's time to have a real conversation. Here's the deal. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description and book a confidential one-on-one meeting with me. All right. We'll talk through all the talking points, right? Exactly how you can take advantage of this massive opportunity and what that would look like for you to plug into your business and plug into this momentum. All right. Now, if you're watching this on any other platform, just DM me directly, right? If it's on Instagram or Facebook. Let's talk privately, no pressure, no fluff, just a real conversation about what's possible. Once this rocket's in the air, it's going to be a bad view from the ground. All right. LPT isn't just the average brokerage. It's a movement. I keep saying this over and over again, and this is your chance to be part of it before anyone else realizes what's happening. So reach out, book your confidential meeting, or shoot me a DM, and let's talk about how you can make this chapter the biggest one of your career.